going on holiday is really important, and it is really important to those destinations that we do visit. We've identified that as a core part of our strategy, is that we want to play a part in how we can help our customers travel in the most sustainable way, how we can help support tourism as it builds back better.
This is the Green on the Go podcast, where we talk about keeping travel sustainable. And for this episode, I got to speak to Associate Director of Strategic and Sustainability Development at Holiday Extras, Mish Clarke-Cowell. Hello, Mish.
Hello, India.
Hi, welcome to the Green on the Go podcast. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Warm, not just because I'm on a beautiful hot beach, yes, but as you can see, it's pretty toasty.
It is toasty. Yeah, we're recording this in a heat wave in July in the UK. So yes, we're all sweating out a little bit, but it's okay. Right, let's get started. Obviously, I know you fairly well. We've worked together for the last I've worked at Holiday Extras for 4 years. You've been there much longer than me. But if you could start by talking to us and telling us a little bit about your background and about you and why we're talking on this podcast right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, I've been here coming up for 23 years. So a lot of my background has had Holiday Extras in it. And I actually met my husband here as well. So it's been a big part of my life. And I started in the late 90s in our contact centre. So I've had many roles in that time. I haven't just been doing the same thing for 23 years. So I started in our contact centre, and then sort of moved through into commercial, was a hotel contract manager for a long time, learnt loads in that role. And then I moved into our UK short rates business. And that really gave me that opportunity to kind of learn about lots of different roles within the business. I became an associate director. I worked with the commercial team, partnership team, contact centre, marketing, people team, and even the product and tech team for a while as well. So it was a really sort of fully kind of inclusive part of the business, and I learned a lot, and got to work with loads of our great people, which was great. And then a couple of years ago, I was given the opportunity to start looking at our sustainability strategy. And that was really, really exciting because it was something that I hadn't done before. And I really loved the idea of doing that, but I didn't really know what it meant. So that kind of started that journey back in 2019.
Yeah, and we're still on a journey now, the Holiday Extras.
Yes, we absolutely are.
Yeah, and I'm sure that whilst in this role, it has sort of influenced your personal life as well, and the way that you kind of live your life and trying to live as sustainably as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, because that awareness of sort of first starting to learn about, okay, what do we mean by sustainability? I think previously we'd spoken about sort of CSR, but that's evolved more broadly into actually being a sustainable business. But learning what do we mean about living sustainably? And yeah, we've made changes. I got immediately better at recycling and looking at what I was using and the products I was buying. We're vegetarians now, as a family, actually very much driven by our daughter, who's 16, so very aware, and that next generation kind of coming through. And we recently got an electric car as well, which has been great. So I think a lot of what I've learned and learning is that it is about awareness. It's about people kind of understanding, because we've just done stuff for in a certain way for so long. And actually, when you start understanding and learning the impact of certain things and what sustainability means, and what happens if we just continue doing this, you start sort of thinking about, actually, it doesn't, I can do things differently.
Absolutely. And I think it can be very easy to be blissfully unaware of what's going on, but as soon as you start getting the nitty gritty, and obviously within your job you have, it does have an influence on your personal life too. So could you give us a brief description of sort of Holiday Extras' sustainability journey over the last few years? So sort of, I guess, from before you took on the role to then you taking on the role and where we've got to now.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Holiday Extras as a business has always kind of really cared sort of centre about its people. So and also its kind of impact on its local communities and kind of giving back. So that's been a kind of core part of Holiday Extras. But what we didn't have is a strategy, goals. So we were doing some really, really good things. And also in terms of environmental responsibility, again, we made some really great changes. Just naturally, we changed all our light bulbs to LED bulbs, quite a while ago. We reduced the flush on our toilets to make sure we were, wasting less water. So we did some good stuff just naturally, but we didn't have a strategy. We didn't have goals, and therefore we weren't measuring what we were doing. We couldn't kind of see the impact in the changes that we were making, and we couldn't talk to our people about it and be kind of proud of what we were doing, and actually have some goals that we could make a bigger impact and a bigger difference. So that's kind of where we were prior. And so as I mentioned before, actually, when I started looking about sustainability, I realized just what that meant. Like how broad sustainability is, and how it impacts basically everything we're doing. So that first part was about learning what it means, and what do we need to do to be able to make a real difference, and to be able to make the changes that you need to make. We all want our businesses to be sustainable, but what wasn't recognized previously and is so now, that includes actually having a planet to exist on, and having people that really believe in your company and your company's purpose and want to help you reach your goals.
It's that David Attenborough effect, isn't it? The Blue Planet effect. As soon as he started bringing out those documentaries, it just awakened everybody to realize we can't do anything if we haven't got a planet to exist on anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And and that was a real key change, I think, in terms of that sort of broader awareness around making changes, plastic, all sorts of different things, people suddenly being much more conscious of, and away from a business perspective to kind of look at it is in terms of that triple bottom line. So it sums it up quite nicely, because it means you're not only focused on your profit, which is traditionally what a bottom line is, but you're also focused on your planet and people too, and therefore you're measuring across all those three things, and success is doing good in all three of those areas. So it's a really nice kind of way of sort of summarizing what it means that you need to kind of look at. And so to be able to do that, you need to really understand your impact and dependencies on people and planet. And then you need to define some goals to reduce the negative impacts that you're having, and increase the positives, and then be able to kind of measure progress. So kind of where we've got to is we now have a strategy, we have some high level goals, and we're at the beginning of kind of measuring our baseline in those areas. So we can start kind of setting KPIs and start being really, transparent with our teams, and, more externally around, these are our commitments and this is how we're doing against those. So we're still very much at the beginning part of that journey.
Yeah.
But we have a strategy. So that's a really good start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess being a holiday company as well that relies on the likes of flying, there's certain obstacles that you have to get round, and it's about being realistic, I imagine, with this strategy. Now I know that you've used the UN Sustainable Development Goals to help direct the Holiday Extras sustainability strategy. So which ones have you been most inspired to follow? And if you could also give us a little bit background behind the UN Sustainable Development Goals too, for anyone who's listening and doesn't know what they are.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know back in 2018-19 when we first started looking at this. I hadn't heard of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and when sort of during my kind of learning and research and speaking to others, I was pointed in the direction of the goals, and that they were a really good framework for businesses to kind of place their strategy around those goals. The UN goals were agreed back in 2015 and ultimately are to protect the planet and ensure that there's peace and prosperity for all, with a target of achieving that by 2030. So a real big, audacious goal, but they cover everything. And organizations, governments, we all need to be contributing to make those happen. So that's why they really do make sense, that if you are creating a sustainable future for your organization, that you align that to those goals, so we ultimately can all contribute towards achieving those. So there are 17 goals, and underneath that sit around 169 targets, and there's other bits underneath that as well, so there's a lot involved in those. And so the first part of the work was kind of looking at those goals, looking at those targets, and saying and choosing, well, what are the ones that where we feel like we can make the most difference, that we can contribute towards, and we have a responsibility to contribute towards as an organization. And again, kind of learnings was around, don't go for all of them, choose kind of 4 to 6 goals where you feel like you can have the most impact. And actually, because there's kind of overlapping between goals, you are going to be contributing to other goals anyway, naturally, by focusing on those 4. So the 4 that we selected 2 that were more environmentally focused and 2 that were more kind of people focused. And those 4 are, so goal 4, which is around quality education. And for us, this is about inspiring and sharing. It's about using our kind of platform, our expertise, to help solve sustainability issues within the travel industry and support our local communities, working with schools, for an example of that, and getting a really good program there going. The next one is goal 8, and that's decent work and economic growth. For us, that's about unleashing potential. So that's about our people and ensuring that we're sort of leading with our purpose. We have a really great vision. We've got a diverse team and an inclusive environment where our people can thrive and have the opportunity to continually kind of grow and learn. Goal 12 is about responsible consumption and production. And so we talk about that in terms of leaving only footprints. So this is about our own direct impact and dependencies on natural resources, but also how we can encourage our customers to explore the planet with a limited sort of negative impact and an increased value to those destinations that they're visiting. So that one's really aligned to our kind of our role in our business in the travel industry. And then the goal 13, which is climate action. So obviously, really key and important understanding around reducing our emissions, achieving carbon neutrality, and again, making it easier for our customers to select more sustainable products. So they are the 4 goals that we focused on.
I love that one at the end, giving the customer an option in saying, these are the green products that we've picked out. They're there for you to choose. So you can create a package that is the greenest version of a trip that you can take, that we can provide for you. So yeah, it's about, putting the responsibility in the customer's hands as well, and giving them the opportunity to do that.
Absolutely. And it is about making it easy for customers, reducing that hassle, because I'm sure when you're trying to buy a product, you have to do a lot of work sometimes to work out, well, actually, what is the life cycle of that product? Where was it made? Or what, there's a lot that goes into it. So this stuff isn't easy. It is hard, and therefore it is our responsibility to make it as easy as possible for customers to select those choices.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, obviously, we can't not talk about this big shiny thing, pandemic, that we've all lived through. It's been a bit of it's a running theme, I guess, throughout this series of the Green on the Go podcast, because the travel industry has been so widely impacted by it. And what I'm interested in finding out about is sort of how has it affected Holiday Extras, and has it given Holiday Extras time to kind of reflect on where we stand within the travel industry, and given us a chance to come back into the world of travel differently. And I want to know how the company wants to bring sustainability to the forefront in the future. So yeah, if you could just sort of tell us of the journey that Holiday Extras has been on over the last year, whilst we've all been in lockdown and not being able to go anywhere.
What a year. So yeah, absolutely. Being in the travel industry, obviously, as it did mean back in March 2020, there was a pause on business as usual, and our focus really went to our customers and our people. But we also took the opportunity to kind of refocus and revise our strategy. overall as a business. So it gave us that time, but that also meant that we incorporated sustainability and our sustainability kind of goals within our overall strategy. Often sustainability can sit on the side, and actually we've incorporated it as a core part of our strategy moving forward. So that was really important, and it did enable us to do that, because it is important that it's prioritised, and it can have the focus that it needs to be able to make, ultimately changes. It's a big change project. So, during this time, it definitely reconfirmed just how important holidays are for people. The opportunity to explore somewhere new, take time out from sort of day to day, and therefore those associated overall well-being benefits that you have just by getting away and going on holidays. So going on holiday is really important, and it is really important to those destinations that we do visit as well.
Absolutely, and I think that's what's come up most actually throughout this series, talking to other guests, is how travel can get a bit of a bad rep in this, world of sustainability, but actually it creates jobs, it creates prospect, and a lot of destinations have really suffered because they haven't had tourists coming to visit them. So it's about doing it properly, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
about how we do it. It's not about traveling in itself, it's about how we travel.
Definitely, yeah. And therefore, in terms of kind of bringing it to the forefront for us, it kind of it was that we kind of, we've identified that as a core part of our strategy, is that we want to play a part in how we can help our customers travel in the most sustainable way, to continue to explore it, because as it's good for us, and it's good for those destinations, but in a way that increases value to those destinations and the communities that we're visiting. And we want to be a part of helping to ensure that future generations can continue to explore our planet. So that's kind of at the forefront of, in terms of how we want to impact, and how our sustainability strategy impacts sort of travel and the tourism industry overall, is using our position to help influence how people travel. That is a really important kind of key part for us.
Yeah, and I think it's this, I know there is a saying in the travel industry now, which is build back better, isn't it? And how we can do that. We've been given this break to reflect and kind of take stock on what's been going on in the world. And so, of course, we all want to travel. We're all desperate, aren't we? But if we're going to do it, let's work out how to get back to it in a better way. And I know this is something that the Travel Foundation, charity that we work with a lot, are really, really keen on. They're a sustainable travel charity, and they have also kind of set up the guiding principles for tourism's new future campaign, which I know Holiday Extras has signed up to. So what does it mean to the business to be part of this?
Yeah, so this is a really exciting initiative or movement that was created during the pandemic. And yeah, as you say, the Travel Foundation have been a great partner of ours for many years now, and they've been doing great work for a long time, helping to ensure tourism benefits local people and also protects the environment. And they were a founding partner of the Future of Tourism Coalition, and they've defined 13 guiding principles, and they are all about building tourism back better, like you say. And for us, it plays a key role in our sustainability strategy, because it connects us to the destinations that our customers are visiting, and helps us understand the true impact of tourism, and how actually, how when tourism is done well, how it does benefit the local communities. And it can support the protection of the kind of the nature, the places that our people, our customers are visiting, and protect that history. The very things that people are going to visit, how we can actually protect that, and therefore it does enrich those experiences for our travellers if we're doing it in a sustainable way. So with we want to play a key part in helping our customers explore the planet in a more sustainable way, using our platforms, sharing what we're learning with our own people, with our customers, within the industry, signing up to those guiding principles. It's a really nice kind of partnership to be working with the Travel Foundation, to be signing up to those guiding principles. It helps us kind of play our part. So it's a really exciting initiative, and yeah, we're really proud to have signed that and to be playing our part in how we can help support tourism as it builds back better.
Yeah, and I guess it's a way of making, businesses like Holiday Extras accountable for what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. There is that, we're in the, every business has their responsibility within the industry that they're in, and we're in that industry, in the travel industry, and therefore travel is important, and having those guiding principles helps us absolutely to kind of commit. We're committing to be working and supporting towards that, towards their principles, and like you say, it helps to hold people to account, helps to hold us to account to doing that, and that's with sort of sustainability, it is about making decisions and making them for the future, and making good decisions for the future, and that's this, it's a really good framework to help us do that.
Yeah, and I think it's a great time to talk about the Travel Foundation and the fact that we've worked with them for many years now. It's not just a thing that we've been doing since you've come into this role, is it? Relationship goes back way back.
Yeah, it really has, and you've worked personally on some great projects, haven't you?
Yeah.
With the Foundation.
They've inspired many of our videos that we've made on the Holiday Extras YouTube channel, and they've taught me personally a lot. Let alone our customers. So I think they're a really amazing and inspiring influence to have on the business.
They really are, and they will play, that we want to work really closely with the Travel Foundation moving forward, as we have done in the past, helping our customers understand what the Travel Foundation are doing, and sort of again sharing what they're learning, and how we can help with the projects that the Travel Foundation sort of are working on moving forward. So we see that partnership growing, so we can help support, because the work they're doing is so important. They're helping those destinations understand the true impact of travel, and ensuring that that when destinations are taking having customers, that they're not just having them for the sake volume over the kind of the quality, and actually understanding what like you would do a business, looking at your overall bottom line, you take lots of costs into consideration, and actually understanding all of those, so that you are looking after your destinations. So yeah, really excited by the work the Travel Foundation do, and they'll continue to be even more a great partner for us to help us play our part in our sustainability strategy when it comes to tourism.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely recommend anyone who's listening to have a little look at what they getting up to, and learn and support them any way you can.
Absolutely.
So looking forward to the future, let's pretend the pandemic is over. We're all traveling again. Life feels back to normal. We've got sprinkles of it at the moment. We're feeling like it's happening. We're getting there. In, I don't know, 10 years time from now, what do you hope to see from Holiday Extras from a sustainability standpoint?
I think what I'd like to see is that that we really are making a difference, both within our organisation and outside of it, and that sustainability is just how we operate. That's just business as normal. So those decisions that we're making, we're always looking for the future. We're always looking at not only kind of impacting positive now, but the future, for future generations, as we've discussed, that we've achieved those those goals that we've set in terms of enabling all to thrive, and our campuses, they're carbon neutral, that we have that a fully inclusive, diverse team across all levels of the business, and that when we think about our products and how customers are getting to the airport right now, that we're a key part of that sort of seamless mobility and the future of mobility and how that's moving forward. Automated vehicles, we're reducing hassle for our customers however they're traveling in the future, and that we really are enabling a new generation of travellers to explore our beautiful world, but with kind of minimal environmental impact, and really connecting them really so much deeper with every destination that they're visiting, which ultimately increases their experience, and really kind of makes their free time count when they're on those that precious time, holiday time, really making the most of that time. So the goals that we're setting, that it's just part of how we're operating, and it's will be a key reason why people would want to work for Holiday Extras, a key reason why people would book with Holiday Extras, because it's just part of who we are.
Yeah, definitely. And it's I think it's something that, as a customer, as a consumer, it's something that so many more people are aware of and they're looking for. So if you're going to choose to work for a company or spend money, with a business or whatever it is, if you can see that they're doing good in the world and they've got their sort of mind in the right place, then of course you're going to want to have a relationship with that business even more so it just makes sense. And I know from my experience working at Holiday Extras, it's a business that really does sort of thrive on moving with the times, or ahead of the times even, and always seeing everything with fresh eyes. So I'm really excited for the future and seeing where it takes us. I think it's going to be a really, really exciting journey, and obviously continuing that relationship with the Travel Foundation is only going to benefit what we're doing. So yeah, and who knows, will you be here in 10 years time?
Oh gosh. Who knows? I'll be very old by then.
Yeah, no, you won't. We have to see it all happening, and we'll all be driving electric cars by then, won't we? And all sorts.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Mish, for talking to me today on the Green on the Go podcast. It's been great. I know we'll get you back for other episodes to sort of find out how this journey's going for Holiday Extras and to find out more about the work that you're doing. But it's brilliant, and that whole idea of the travel industry building back better is really, really exciting, and really exciting to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Indira. It's been great.
Thank you.
To have live guides, right, which I think is so fascinating. You can be sitting in your living room in Folkestone with a headset on, and you can have a guide taking you on a virtual live tour of a rainforest, of a